4 years ago. It'll be 4 years ago this August.
My fiance was taking pictures and
all day, even before we went to my sister's campsite, he wanted to go in the water.
Then we went down to the beach to have our first drinks, started playing beer pong, and Doug decided to jump in the water.
it was dark, you couldn't really see.
No one else was swimming. And he just ran out there.
I said, it would be a funny picture if I just ripped off my shirt and just went tailing it into the water.
He ran into the water. He ran out probably a good 30, 40 feet.
Waves were kind of coming in, and if you look at the lake, it looked like it was really deep.
Just running, splashing, the water was splashing up to his hips, so I'm sure he thought it was deeper than it was.
I just whipped off my shirt and I started running.
He did a dive/tumble, and he bellied right up.
And I thought I was going to be like 4 foot deep. Led too much with my head, and I just impacted right into the ground.
Down the beach, he heard he's not okay. And that's when Corey ran out to him.
He wanted her again. I ran out there. I grabbed his shoulders, and the first thing he looked up was, Corey, I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs. And he started bawling. And then I called in from help from the shore, and he went in and pulled him out of the water.
I just remember just flipping upside down, and I saw everybody looking at me. I couldn't yell for him.
You just think he was like floating.
I didn't feel him pick me up at all. I mean, I knew that they were picking me up, but I didn't feel them picking me up. I couldn't feel anything. It almost felt like just a trickle up paralysis, and I couldn't move nothing. I just was face first, I never blacked out, so I can remember it like it was yesterday. Choppered me from Old Forge to Syracuse. I was there in ICU for a week, and I remember the neurosurgeon would come to shake my hand, and I couldn't grip it.
He was in Syracuse for, I'm going to say, about 6 weeks. And at that time, he had no movement, including his arms. He couldn't even raise his arms above his head.
My burst fractured my C6, cervical 6 in my neck. And I asked one of my therapists, have you ever seen somebody with my injury walk again? And then she told me no. And that was the first day, of reality. They sent me over to Sunnyview down in Schenectady, Sunnyview Rehab, and I was there for 2 months. By the time I left, I could push a manual chair from, maybe 50 to 100 feet. Every day is tough. Sometimes you'll have a problem, you gotta call up your aide, and you're getting into bed and somebody's helping you get changed. It's like you feel like a big overgrown baby. I don't think I've ever let myself stay down.
We more or less had to do basically everything for him. He had his days, but they were moments, and he was in good spirits the whole time.
He's a quadriplegic. Technically, a quadriplegic is supposed to have no use of all limbs, his arms or his legs, but Doug is different.
We take for granted those simple things he has to worry about.
When I first started with him, he couldn't transfer himself. We would have to use a gait belt in order to get him up out of bed, into his chair. And by the time I left, he was doing it all on his own.
This kid has just made miraculous improvements with the injury that he's sustained.
He had basically had to relearn everything, from his injury, how to get up in the morning, to brushing his teeth, to taking a shower.
And there were a lot of people in Doug's situation that would just give up.
I can't imagine the struggle he went through trying to learn how to brush your teeth again, comb your hair, or God knows what else. So
Doug had to fight for everything he has.
Normally, quadriplegics can't drive. Normally, quadriplegics can't manually move a wheelchair.
People had told him he wouldn't be able to accomplish as much as he has, and he's out to prove them wrong.
But it was a struggle for him to do everything, but as time went on, he learned, figured out ways to do it all on his own.
And whatever he was going to do, nothing was going to stop this kid.
He just breaks all barriers.
So don't give up. You can always learn how to adapt.
My whole life outlook started changing.
Once he got in an accident, I think he realized that God was the reason why he survived.
It used to be all about myself. I always had a good heart, but I was always about me. Make the money, buy me toys, me. It was always me.
He's a much better person than he was before. He takes nothing for granted.
I believe that God waited, he used for something so little, just running into the water and diving out. Not off of a dock, not off of anything, just running out. For me, a 6'5" guy to be paralyzed. And for all the hard stuff that I go through, I wouldn't have been able to do it when I was just a bartender stuff. I would have gave up. The more I go through life, the more I know that there is a God, and he has helped me out.
Well, he realized that it's a gift that he was given.
He's embracing his accident. He's embracing what happened to him. A lot of people just shun themselves, hide in the closet, and just wait to die. He's not going to do that.
I think he learned more about himself after the accident.
When he turned to God, he cares about stuff a lot more. He's a lot more appreciative.
You know, life is way too short to have animosity. My view on life has changed for the better.
He's actually appreciating life and accepting that this is what it is, but now he needs to make it better for himself, and he can't let any obstacle get in the way.
All he wants to do is help somebody.
He's a person that when you first meet him, you'll never forget him. You know, he makes a lasting impression on you.
That's the reason why I want to do this documentary, because if it can help one person, you gotta talk about your injury. You can't run from it. If you run from it and try to act like you're not injured, you're just fooling yourself. It's important to cry. You have to cry. You have to talk about it. If you don't, it's gonna eat you up. It's gonna eat you up inside until you're just gonna break.
If you start with a positive attitude and keep yourself going in that respect, and you kind of if you buy into what he's bought into, and that life's not over now.
He was meant to be in radio. He's got a gift.
One of his desires in this field is going to be to share his experiences with others, and hope that his story motivates other quads to do something.
I think you have to make light of your situation to people, because if I was just sheltered, you want to feel comfortable around me, you know?
In the hospital, he was helping kids with accidents that were down on themselves. His first month there, he's talking to them. He wanted to make someone feel better, you know?
And I think Doug can teach a lot of quadriplegics that it's never good to give up.
I can help you walk through, you know, how to go to school, how to get modifications done.
He's like the Don. He's the Don of quads, you know? He wants to be the leader. He wants people to be inspired by him and see him.
A closed mouth don't get fed.
I can't imagine what he did go through emotionally.
Sherry was awesome. She was his rock for the longest time.
She was an ultimate angel.
You had to cancel the wedding, and you know that was, my God, that was the hardest thing ever. Because if it wasn't for Sherry, I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to you. You know, she stayed with me every 61 days I was in the hospital. Didn't leave my side once. The first morning that I woke up was our wedding day at the house, which we woke up on a Sunday to the church bells at the church that we were supposed to get married at. Was the hardest day out of all the 4 years was that day. I wanted to be better for her, because I didn't want her to be like, I can't take this and leave me. So I wanted to relearn how to comb my hair. So I would work to try to pick up a brush, and I would just keep trying. And then I got it. I went back to college. I relearned how to do everything for her. So she sees that her man is willing to try and not give up. And I felt like all my work and all my hard stuff that I did was for nothing. And now it's like the only person that was by my side is now leaving me. She was the only thing I had. I mean, I had family and stuff, but it was her. And I think that was also to the beginning of our demise. People need their space, and I couldn't give her her space because I was always there. Then she gave me back my ring, which was freaking tough. It felt like my whole life was all done. I say now, if I wake up and I'm healthy, it's a good day.
Hopefully people seeing Doug's story and the situation that he's in and his drive and motivation will give them a little bit of inspiration to, man, just go chase it, go get it.
He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he wants to accomplish. He will continue to persevere to go and get what he wants.
With therapy and a lot of hard work, he is where he is now.
The 5 characteristics that would describe Doug, as far as I'm concerned, would be motivation, 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 and motivation.
Actually seeing how, hey, you know what, even though I'm hurt, I can still go out and meet somebody. I can still have kids.
He's become a best friend and a brother to me.
He's gonna keep improving.
I believe with the determination that he has and the will that he has, he will walk again.
I see Doug in 5 years being where Doug wants to be.
But I want that family. I want that house. I want the kids. I still want that. And I don't feel because I'm in this injury and that I can't have that.
Be humble. I mean, enjoy what you got. You never know when it's going to change.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of speechless right now. I stumbled upon this video and I'm just saying I don't own a documentary or anything. No, I don't. It was made years ago, before I was born, I think. No, wait. Maybe a little bit after I was born, it was made. My uncle Doug, he's not really my uncle, he's more of my cousin, my second cousin. He's an amazing man. He's the one that inspired me to start doing videos. I just wanted to share a story a little more out there. There's not a lot of people that saw that old video, so I thought I would show it to your audience. Holy crap. Just want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
Watch your head.